Here in Studio One, I've got a super simple project. As you can see, there's just one instrument here. You can see its MIDI here in blue, and then we can see its audio channel down in the mixer over here. Okay, so let's have a quick listen to the first 4 bars or so to see what's going on with this. And you may be thinking, hang on a second, Mike, there's more than one instrument there. You caught me. You're absolutely right. There's actually a few instruments there kind of combined into one, into something we call a multi-instrument. How did I do it? Well, it's super easy in Studio One. Hi folks, I'm Mike and I hope you're well. I actually started off with just a piano, which you can see here. Looks very similar to the setup you saw a moment ago, but there's just this Piano Tech plugin there, yeah? I really like this one from Mod Art, okay? It's one of my favorite pianos. Have a listen to this all by itself. Okay, so that's our starting point. Now I want to add a bass guitar in there. I'm going to use a third-party plugin again. I like this ABJ bass from Sound. It's kind of a jazz bass. And I've actually got a preset set up for it. So I'm just going to click on this little triangle here and choose my preset, which is smooth bass. I'm going to grab it and just drag it across and drop it onto this MIDI here. Okay, so I drop it there and this pop-up appears. And what I want to choose here is combine. Okay, so it's going to combine these two instruments together. So I click on that and this new window pops up. This is a multi-instrument window and you can see my piano here and you can see ABJ, which is my bass guitar. Have a quick listen and see what our first problem is. It's not quite right because the bass is playing all of the notes that the piano is, including those sort of high chords. We don't want that. We just want the bass to play the lower notes, okay? So if we look at the bottom of this window, we can see Piano Tech 8 here. We can see ABJ, the bass. And this is where we set the range of keys which actually play this instrument. So I'm going to grab the end of the bass guitar here and just drag it across to where I know it's actually safe for this piece of music, which is D2 here. So I'll just stop that. And now only these few notes are actually going to play the bass. Have a listen. Much better. Now another thing I may want to do is adjust the mix between the two instruments. If we actually click on the instruments, I'll click on the piano here. You can see in the left hand side a very familiar looking panel appears with, you know, your fader, your inserts, your sends, etc. Okay, so I'll click on the bass and I'm just going to drag that fader down a little bit. I'll have a listen. Okay, that sounds about right. I'm going to put in a guitar next. So I'm actually using another Sound plugin for the guitar. I've got a preset again prepared for it. It's called AGT, which is a Taylor guitar from Sound. I'm just going to expand this so I can see my presets. It's called Wide Acoustic. Now when I grab it this time, I can either grab it and drop it onto that MIDI area again and get the pop-up as I did before. But because I've already got this multi-instrument open, I can just drag it straight into there, okay? And then I don't have to deal with the pop-up. Okay, so there's my guitar, AGT. Let's have a listen. Okay, so it sounds pretty awful at the moment. Now there's a reason for that. Because this piano part is kind of so wide in the sense that the bass notes are quite a long way from the chords, it's not really possible for a guitar to play that, okay? So what I want to do again is just make sure the guitar is only playing the higher notes, okay? So again, I'll go down to the bottom here where I've got my sort of key zones, and I'll grab the guitar part and just drag the left hand side this time across. I'll stop it around about there. Now the other thing that I know I want it to do in terms of those higher notes, I don't want it to be playing such high notes, okay? So I'm going to transpose this instrument as well, make it an octave lower. So to do that, I'm going to go in here and type in -12. Okay, that's 12 semitones lower. That's going to make an octave lower. Now, because I've already sort of played this guitar incorrectly, if you like, it's sort of messed up the instrument. So I'm just going to open up the guitar here, and I'm just going to reset this. I'm just going to grab the preset there and just load it up again. Okay, so that is loaded up. That's all ready to go. Let's have a quick listen now. Okay, it's getting there. It's not quite the same as my demo at the beginning of the video, and that's because with that I'd already added some effects to it. So if I actually go ahead, for some reason you need to click on another instrument first and then click on this instrument, yeah? So I'll go ahead and click on that instrument. We can see this interface appear here, and of course I'm going to put some effects in here. I'm going to insert some effects. I've already got them prepared as an effects chain, so I'll just go up here, and the effects chain is called Spacey Guitar. Okay, so I'll load that up. Now you can see a few things going on here. Basically, I've got a reverb and a delay, but I'm using something called splitter. Now, if you've never used splitter in Studio One before, you probably want to watch this video up here, but basically, it's a kind of a way of making buses on the fly without actually having to create a bus to put your effects in, okay? Now, if I double click on the splitter here to open it up, you can see it's routing here. So I've got the original signal comes from the top. It splits into two, right? This is like it's going to two separate buses, one with the reverb plugin on, one with the delay plugin. That's the most simple way to explain it at the moment. And it means that I can have all of this contained still within this multi-instrument, okay? So now that I've got my reverb and delay, let's have a listen to this guitar now. Getting pretty nice now. I think it just needs a pad. So the synth I'm going to use is from Arturia. It's called Pigments, and as you may have guessed, I've got a preset organized for it. So I'm just going to open up here, grab this preset called Dreamy. I'm just going to drag it across into my multi-instrument here. Okay, so it just takes a moment, and there it is. Let's have a quick listen to this. Fine, well, it's there, but it's a bit heavy, isn't it? Okay, so the first thing I want to do actually is have it not play those lower notes. I just want it to play those higher notes, a bit like the guitar. So I'm just going to adjust its keyboard range here. I'll just drag it up to here or so, right? Have another quick listen. That's okay, but it's a little bit loud, okay? So I'll just click away and click on it again. I'm just going to drag its fader down like so. Okay, have a listen. Okay, that's getting there. Now, I also had an effect applied before. I have it set up as an effects chain, so I'll just go up here and just choose it. CS Dreamy. Okay, it's just one reverb effect. Okay, it's another one from Arturia called Eternity. Looks like this, one of my favorite reverbs. And have a listen to this now. Really is dreamy, okay? And one final touch, I'm just going to pan this guitar and this synth pad sort of a little bit away from each other. So I'll go to the guitar here. Oh, actually, it's already panned over to the left-hand side a little bit. Yeah, so then I'll go to the synth here and I'll pan it over to the right-hand side a bit. Have a listen to this now. Okay, that's the sound I wanted. So what if I want to take this whole instrument and actually use it in another project? Easy. Now you may want to save this as a preset multi-instrument so that you can use it in other projects, okay? You can see right at the top here, I've already saved this as a preset called Unearthly. But if you don't know how to do that, let's do it now. We just click on this little icon here, yeah, click on that, and then click on Store Preset. Give it a name, and because this is just for you, I'll call it just for you. Okay, so click on OK, and that is saved as a preset. So how do I use that in a new project? Let's open a new project to find out. Okay, I'll just create a new project here, and if we look over on the right hand side in the browse panel, just make sure you're on instruments and go all the way up to the top, and you can see multi-instruments at the top there. Just expand that and you can see the one we just created there just for you. I'll grab it and I'll drag it across into the project. Okay, it will take a moment for it to load up, and it has loaded up. There's the screen there for it, and I can go ahead and actually play it. Lovely. Now, earlier in this video, I mentioned using something called Splitter, which I used in a really rudimentary kind of way. It's actually quite sophisticated and very, very useful. You can find out about it right here.